Here's the other piece. The political analysis gets stuck in this sort of lazy, calcified, I'm not accusing you of this, Charlie, but well, he can't win, so why? Liz Cheney isn't in Congress, but she did a whole lot of, words I can't use here, a ton of damage to Trump and the Republicans ahead of the ever-important midterms. She helped create democracy voters. She helped tell a story using all Trump-supporting Republicans of the danger Trump uniquely and specifically and currently and in the future poses to U.S. democracy.
Yes. Christie's right, but he's also complicit. Like, he made this mess, and now he's trying to ride in on some kind of white horse like he's the man of integrity to try to clean it up. The message is right, in that people are fed up with the grift. They're fed up with the lack of integrity. They're fed up with the sellouts. We'll, I'm sure, talk about Live Golf and what's happened there. So he's right on the substance, and he's right in taking on Trump. He's just the wrong guy to do it, because Americans are looking for authenticity, and he doesn't bring it. He looks like a guy who's willing to change his jersey depending upon the way the wind blows. So Christie can score some points. Can he take down Trump? No, Trump's better at this than he is. But if they all gang up together and it sets a tone, they can start to chip away at Godzilla over time. I still think Trump's going to prevail, but it does also help the Republican Party appeal to independents. It makes them sound more moderate, it makes them sound more sane, and it makes them sound more patriotic, because there are a lot of people in this country who are truly patriotic, who aren't worried about rainbow flags on beer cans, but they're worried about selling the White House. And that's the bigger issue. To the Saudis and any number of other people, apparently, in the next couple of weeks, we'll find out.
I think Chris Christie is saying things that a lot of people have known and said privately, and I think he's going to force some of them out of the shadows, and some of them are very comfortable in the shadows. But this $2 billion that Jared Kushner got from the Saudis when Steve Mnuchin, who's got a lot better investment record than Jared Kushner got, was talked about at a much higher volume privately than was ever really noted or reported. It may force Democrats even to open an investigation into Kushner.
I don't think Christie's going to be our hero, but he can break the seal, and he can open up the conversation, especially in Republican circles, especially in moderate circles. And he's a Jersey guy, right? It's a Jersey guy getting down the mud with Trump, fighting on his kind of turf, in his way, scrapping it up. And I think that will score points and do some damage on Trump. But I think, to your larger point we were talking about in the break, people are looking for steadiness. People are looking for integrity at a time when it feels like everything's under attack and everything is for sale. The Saudis sold out America, attacking America, and PGA sold out America to the Saudis on D-Day, and spit in the face of 9/11 first responders who are right now in New York suffering with this smoke. It feels like 9/11 in this city. Yeah. I'm talking to 9/11 first responders like myself who are really feeling this, and we're reminded of what it was like on 9/11. Now the country's kind of feeling what that was like, and we're looking for leaders who can take us through it, who can meet the moment, who can just manage crisis and manage fear and take us forward. Chris Christie's not going to be the guy to do it. I think other leaders will rise up, but I think he can set a better tone. And you can set a tone. We can all set a tone of steadiness and unity.
Players should not join the Live Golf Tour. And we have this blockbuster news this week that they have merged.
What we've seen is Trump has sent a command climate in this country that is showing that integrity is dead. America is for sale. Patriotism is dead, at least among some key leaders. That's why I've continued to say to you, Trump is not a political story. It's a national security story. It's always a national security story. So is Live Golf. So is the January 6th investigation. We're talking about whether or not a president...
So is the documents,
all of it. Right? We're talking about whether or not a president and a group of people conspired to violently overthrow our government, and whether they should be stopped from doing it potentially again and encouraging others to do it again. Stuart Rhodes is going to jail for 20 years. I think it should be much more. But this goes far and deep, and we don't know how far and deep yet. But we have to remember that even if he loses, he's still a national security threat because he's never been held accountable, and neither has anyone else. And it sends a message to the world that we are willing to sell our top sports league to a bunch of people who are connected to the worst attack on U.S. soil in history, who violate human rights, who criminalize anybody who's LGBTQ. They just bought the PGA, right? And the people like Tiger Woods, who showed integrity, people like Rory McIlroy, who had patriotism and integrity, they got the rug ripped out from under them, just like the 9/11 first responders did by the PGA, who spit in our faces. They said, we're going to roll you. We don't care about you. We are cowards. And I think what they've done is worse than just hypocrisy. It's treasonous.
In fact, there are many that are trying to make this false equivalency between the joining of leagues to create the modern NBA and the modern NFL. That is not what's happening here. What's happening is that it is a partnership with a foreign entity. And that foreign entity, as you've laid out, has very questionable human rights with respect to the LGBT community, to women. I worked with a lot of 9/11 families, as you have, and I did so with Senator Clinton after 9/11. And to read their response, we should, as a country, be focused on what they are feeling and saying about their concerns around this partnership. Where will it end, if at all? It can't just be about the money. It's got to be more about integrity and our history and who we hold up in our nation.
Yeah, forget about whitewashing history, as Ron DeSantis is trying to do, which is shameful and a sin, and it should be a political crime for which he pays a political price. But this is history that isn't 3 decades old. And some would like to erase this city's very recent, very painful, very raw history. It's a real, I think to your point, it's a real inflection point on whether we have the capacity, if we really just say never forget, or if we have the capacity to actually never forget. It's really important.
It's gut check moment.
Yeah,
it's gut check
totally.
time. People say they never forget.
Knows no part.
And now we're finding out
right.
who never forgot, and we're finding out who really forgot. And hold them accountable. Boycott the PGA, put the criminals in jail, investigate who needs to be investigated, but bring back integrity and celebrate leaders and empower leaders who are willing to carry that message forward.